God of War 1 has some of the best monsters I have ever seen in video games, from demonic harpies to massive cyclopes. When you play this game, you know for sure that Kratos is going to have a tough time fighting all these creatures. So in this video I will explain all of the common enemies you can find in God of War 1. When I close my eyes and picture the monsters of God of War, the undead enemies are the first creatures that come to my mind. The first enemy type belonging to this category that I will take a look at is the Legionnaire, specifically the Undead Legionnaire. These guys make their debut during the Hydra's attack in the Aegean Sea. Fun fact, they're the very first enemies you face in the entire God of War series. Once human warriors, these decaying monsters now exist only to take down Kratos. Clad in battered Greek armor, their rotten flesh and dead eyes scream evil. But let's be real, they're not the toughest foes. They go down pretty easily, and you can slice through them like a hot knife through butter, tearing them apart with the blades of chaos. These were once people, soldiers with families and dreams, now cursed to serve as mindless pawns in a war against the ghost of Sparta. Poetic, right? Next up we have the Cursed Legionnaire, a tougher version that storms in near the docks of Athens. These guys are a step above the Undead Legionnaires, rocking heavier armor and wielding larger, meaner swords. And let me just say this, their sword design, absolutely good. It's got this brutal and ancient vibe that I love. Unlike their weaker cousins, Cursed Legionnaires hit harder and fight smarter. You've got to wear them down before you can grab them for a finishing move. Watch out though, they can grab you and slam you to the ground if you're not careful. Their real strength? Numbers. They love swarming the enemy, striking from all sides, making every fight a chaotic brawl. And now, the Magic Legionnaires. You'll first run into these guys in the streets of Athens, and at first glance, they look a lot like Cursed Legionnaires, clad in heavy armor. But here's the thing, they carry massive, glowing magic shields that block attacks. Those shields, they're likely inspired by the Roman scutum, the iconic rectangular shields used by Roman legions until the 4th century. To take these foes down, you need to unleash a heavy attack to shatter the shield, then grab them for a brutal finisher, just like with Undead Legionnaires. Now things are getting serious. It's time for Fallen Legionnaires, a big step up in power. First encountered in the brutal challenge of Atlas, these guys become a constant threat inside Pandora's temple. Dressed in spiked armor and swinging menacing swords, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. Compared to Cursed Legionnaires, these warriors hit way harder. Their fast, powerful strikes can overwhelm you when they attack in groups. You'll need to weaken and stun them before landing a grab for a devastating finisher. These are my favorite Legionnaires. There's something so intimidating about their design and relentless assault. Maybe they're cursed souls driven by vengeance, haunting Pandora's temple forever. And here we are, the Legionnaire Captain, the ultimate undead enemy in God of War. If you thought Fallen Legionnaires were tough, these elite enemies take it to another level. First encountered in the challenge of Poseidon, these towering captains feel like mini-bosses with their unmatched strength, speed and skill. The first time I saw them, I remember I was like, man, what the hell? Who are these guys? Their spiked armor with massive shoulder pads and glowing demonic red eyes scream danger. They wield a huge broadsword for crushing blows. But what terrifies me is their scythe. They switch to it with deadly precision. I think these enemies really took the switching to secondary is faster than reloading phrase very seriously, because that scythe is no joke. They're masters of attack and defense, blocking strikes and hitting back with brutal counterattacks. How do you deal with them? I'd strongly suggest using the Blade of Artemis to deal with these enemies. Weaken them, stun them, then grab their leg, slam them down and turn their own broadsword against them. Oh, and there is actually another version of these enemies, the Hades Legionnaires. These flame-wreathed captains, found in the depths of Pandora's temple, are just as deadly, with the same killer moves, but they have this blazing aura. After the brutal Legionnaire captains, now it's time for the snipers of God of War, the Undead Archers. And they're all about one thing, annoying you to no end. Visually, they're like Undead Legionnaires, decayed, creepy and clad in tattered armor. I really love their bow. I like its sleek, ancient design. It's a standout, but don't let their frail look fool you. In groups, their arrow barrages can sting. My strategy? Rush these archers first to shut down their ranged attacks, then handle the melee enemies. You can take them out with the same grabs as Undead Legionnaires, quick and satisfying. Of course, the undead wouldn't be complete without the cursed archers. They show up in Athens and haunt Pandora's temple, and are stronger than the undead archers. Rocking heavier armor, these archers fire arrows that cause a small explosion. I really like their bow design as well, and it's incredible how, in this game, the enemies' armors and weapons look so good. You can take them down with the same grabs as their weaker cousins. They have a flaming version as well. The Hades Archers. Like Hades Legionnaires, they're engulfed in flames but share the same attacks. Alright, we've tackled Legionnaires and Archers, but now it's time for the final undead enemy in God of War, and my personal nightmare, the Wraiths. These things are straight up creepy, like ghosts of fallen warriors. Decayed, rotten, with helmets and shoulder pads, they've got blades for arms and no legs, just floating like true ghosts. Their special attack is diving underground and bursting up right under you, slashing with those wicked blades. The most common type of Wraith is the Wraith of Athens, but there is also a slightly stronger version called Desert Wraith, found only in Pandora's temple. These creatures are consumed by rage and will attack anything. We're done with the undead, and now it's time for one of God of War's most iconic monsters, Minotaurs. Kicking things off with the Minotaur Grunt. These massive beasts are first encountered during the Siege of Athens, and let me tell you, they're a sight to behold. In Greek mythology, the Minotaur was a beast with a man's body and a bull's head, born from Pasiphae, King Minos' wife, and a bull sent by Poseidon. Trapped in a maze called the Labyrinth, built by Daedalus, it fed on human sacrifice from Athens until Theseus took it down. You'll see them a lot during the Athens siege, but don't worry, they're the weakest Minotaurs in the game. You can send them flying, leaving them helpless in the air. Then you smack them down with the Blades of Chaos for a sweet pile of green orbs. Minotaur Grunts look scary, but they're just the start. Stronger versions are coming. Minotaurs are getting real now. The Minotaur Hammer Grunt is a total beast. You first run into these blue-skinned monsters during the Siege of Athens. Unlike the basic Minotaur Grunts, these guys carry a massive blood-stained hammer and a battle axe. That hammer's their favorite. They slam it into the ground, sending a shockwave that knocks you into the air. It's legit one of my favorite attacks in God of War. They'll also shove you back with the hammer or unleash a crazy fast triple swipe with their axe. Alright, we're close to capping off the Minotaurs with one of the baddest enemies in the game, the Minotaur Warrior. These purple-skinned tanks show up in the lower levels of Pandora's temple, starting in the Chamber of Atlas, and they're super dangerous. Like the Hammer Grunts, they swing a massive hammer, but these guys hit way harder and take more punishment. Launching them into the air for combos is trickier, and they often roll in pairs, making fights a total slugfest. I remember the first time I saw them, I was amazed by how tough they were compared to the normal Minotaurs, and I was also a bit scared of facing them. They really look menacing. Here we go, the Minotaur Tormentor, one of the strongest monsters in God of War. These absolute units show up in Pandora's temple, hitting you hard in the Challenge of Hades and Cliffs of Madness. Rocking heavy spiked armor with 3 wicked horns, these beasts swing a massive spiked battle axe, coming at Kratos with wild swipes and ground-shaking slams. You can't launch these guys into the air, they're just too beefy. To take them down, hammer away with heavy combos or the Blade of Artemis for max damage. There's also a Hades version of this creature that looks even more menacing. Minotaurs? Done. Now it's time for something way bigger, stupidly massive. The Cyclops Enforcer, the one-eyed armed giants. In Greek mythology, Cyclopes were one-eyed giants, super strong and master craftsmen who built epic stuff like Zeus' lightning bolts. Decked out in thick spiked armor and their right hand, it's a spiked ball on a cord, hidden in their arm. They will charge at you, swing that ball like a wrecking crew, or grab you, slam you down and try to crush you. To beat them, dodge their swings and hammer away with combos. Once they're weakened, Kratos goes wild. A quick punch below the belt, rolls between their legs, climbs their back, and lands 2 big hits to their eye. Total savage move. Next up, the Cyclops Desert King. You'll run into them in Pandora's temple, from the entrance to the challenge of Poseidon and near the architect's tomb. Covered in spikes and swinging a gnarly spinal bone as a club, these giants come at you with huge sweeping strikes or grab you and slam you to the ground. Dodging their swings is key. Once they're staggered, Kratos can finish them the same way as the Cyclops Enforcer. Given that they are exclusively found on Pandora's temple, the Desert King might have been working for the gods. After the insane Desert Kings, let's talk about the Cyclops Brute. You'll run into these creatures all over Athens. They swing a huge bone as well, trying to smash you, stomp you flat, or grab and slam you into the ground. Here it's the same thing. Dodge their attacks, use rolls and quick attacks to wear them down. To take them out, you gotta stun them once, jam a blade into their eye, and yank them head first into the dirt. But they're tough. You'll need 2 more stuns to land the final hit. Alright, Cyclopes are out, and now it's time for something freaky annoying. Ladies and gentlemen, the most annoying enemy in the game, the Harpy. There are 3 variants of this monster. The first variant of these bold, deformed creatures with bat wings is first encountered at the beginning of the game in the Aegean Sea. In Greek mythology, Harpies are creatures with bird bodies and women's heads, often seen as enforcers of divine punishment, linked to storms and stealing souls. In-game, they aren't very scary. The one thing that makes them somewhat dangerous is their claws. The second variant is encountered in the Temple of the Oracle in Athens. Although there isn't much visual difference, they do have some unique attacks, including the most annoying in the game, a flaming dive bomb. Harpies in the game aren't dangerous enemies. They are just annoying, especially in big groups. This is why I suggest that you deal with them as soon as you see them, to avoid getting overwhelmed by the whole mess. The third variant is just an Hades flaming reskin that maintains the attacks of the second variant. To finish them, you can grab one, slam it to the ground, and rip off its wings, which works for all variants. Harpies were bad. But now we're diving into some other real nightmare fuel, the Gorgons. These snake lady freaks are first encountered in Athens, and let me tell you, they're annoying as well with how fast they move. In Greek mythology, Gorgons are terrifying female creatures, famous for turning people to stone with their gaze. Medusa, the most famous Gorgon, was mortal and eventually defeated by the hero Perseus. Green, reptilian bodies with lady heads, arms, and snakes for hair. They strike quick with a wicked tail whip. Super cool move, by the way, but their real killer trick is those energy beams from their eyes that try to turn you to stone. To finish them, you can twist their head like the cap of a bottle. This version of the Gorgon first slithers out in the Challenge of Atlas and keeps haunting you all over Pandora's temple. They look like standard Gorgons, but with a bluish hue that gives me the vibes of a mean enemy. These creatures are faster and hit harder, whipping their tails like crazy or blasting those stone-turning eye beams to try and freeze you solid. You gotta dodge quick, roll away from that gaze and hit them with combos. Grab them to slam them down and snap their head, just like the green ones. Gorgons were creepy, but now we're diving into something interesting, the Desert Sirens. These ladies roam the desert of lost souls, and Athena tasks Kratos with taking down all 3 to find Kronos by following their songs. You'll spot the first one alone near the desert ruins doorway, with the other 2 wandering the sands. In Greek mythology, sirens were perilous beings, often shown as part bird, part woman, who used their captivating songs to draw sailors to their doom. In the game, they look like beautiful floating women in flowing dresses, but they possess terrifying eyeless, sharp-toothed faces. Weaken the first siren, grab her, and snap her back to take her out, dropping a soul key for the ruins. After the first one, attacking a siren spawns 2 minotaurs that keep coming until she's down. Later in the game, you'll face tougher sirens. These creatures pull Kratos in like a vacuum and fire multiple energy blasts from all angles. I find these enemies to be extremely intriguing and scary. I remember the first time I saw them, I thought they were benevolent entities, but little did I know that they didn't really like me at all. It's time for the straight-up warriors of the game, the Satyrs. These goatman beasts show up at the Cliffs of Madness, and trust me, they're no joke. In Greek mythology, satyrs are beings with a human upper body and goat-like lower body, featuring goat legs, horns, and a tail, typically linked to Dionysus and his rowdy celebrations. In the game, they are the most formidable enemies that Kratos fights. They are super fast, strong, agile, technically skilled, and require precise timing. Otherwise, they will simply block your attacks and counter them with dexterity, rocking heavy armor and swinging big bladed staves like axes. They spin their staves to block Kratos' hits and dish out crazy fast slashes. There's also the Hades version, the Hades Satyrs. They look like standard satyrs, tall and armored, but they're wrapped in hellish flames that make them extra scary. They fight the same way, with crazy fast spins and slashes that block your hits. Kratos runs into centaurs in the Challenge of Hades inside Pandora's temple. These half-man, half-horse enemies are rare. You first need to take down 8 of them in 2 magic rings for a blood sacrifice to Hades. In Greek mythology, centaurs are beings with a human upper body and a horse's lower body, often portrayed as wild and unruly, renowned for their strength and ties to the natural world. They come at Kratos with spear thrusts or charges, so you have to dodge quickly and hit back. Keep moving to avoid getting caught. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of their design. I'm not saying they are ugly or anything. It's just that I think that their demonic appearance doesn't suit them that much. I would have preferred if the top half was more like a warrior, but that's just my opinion. Now it's time for a very interesting enemy, the Cerberus Breeder. You first encounter these monsters in Pandora's temple, and they are a real hassle if you don't stay sharp. In Greek mythology, Cerberus is a fearsome multi-headed dog, born to the monsters Typhon and Echidna, tasked with guarding the underworld's gates to keep the dead inside and the living out unless authorized. In the game, they leap at Kratos, spit fireballs from a distance, and worst of all, cough up Cerberus Seeds, pups that grow into full breeders if you don't take them out fast. In God of War, Cerberus Seeds are small, puppy-like demonic dogs that sometimes appear on their own, but are usually vomited by Cerberus Breeders. Cerberus Seeds attack by curling into a flaming ball and leaping at him or biting him with their teeth. Though individually weak, they can overwhelm you through coordinated group assaults. If not taken out, they grow into fully mature Cerberus Breeders, posing a greater threat, so it's better to deal with them as soon as possible. So, we made it to the end of the video. Who is your favorite monster in God of War? Comment down below, and if you stayed until the end, thank you very much. I think I covered everything. If I missed something, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you want me to unpack something specifically, let me know in the comments as well. So, thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.